Now that you have your basic Google Analytics 4 property set up, I want to talk about account settings on the left. And this is not interesting, but please don't skip this because this is where a lot of people get themselves into trouble. As I mentioned in my setup video, the best setup is to have one account for each website. So again, this isn't for an agency, with a bunch under here with the properties. You want to have the account for your website or your business, and then you'd have a property for your website or your business. You also want to make sure when you go into account access, you want to make sure you're an administrator. So this is one of my personal sites. So this up here is just stuff related to Google Ads, and over here are just my two email addresses. I'm the only one with access or who uses this particular account, so this setup is fine. What I want to show you over here is that it says administrator. So if you have this set up correctly, what you're going to see is the marketing agency might be an administrator, web developer is an administrator, the business owner, website owner is an administrator. So there'll be multiple people on here are administrators. You don't have to provide that much access. You can look at Google support for what somebody gets as an administrator. You can see how much access they have. I basically say if it's somebody you can trust, give them the higher level controls, at least editor if you want them to be able to do a lot more in terms of connecting to Google Ads. But that said, I'll also say that you want to come in here and look at has account access. And if I look at one of my other email addresses, okay, we're saying I can remove myself. Yeah, remove this other person, which is one of my other email addresses. So basically make sure that you have access and the people who should not be in there do not have access. Also, I'll say make sure that you have more than one person having access, because what's happened quite a bit is somebody will leave a company and then someone has absolutely no idea how to get into the account. So make sure you have a couple people with access to your analytics. The other important area here under account is the account settings. Now I'm a little cynical, and I think that no matter what I say I'm going to share with Google, they're going to just look at whatever they want anyway, which maybe isn't fair, but that's just kind of how I operate with cynicalness towards Google. So I'm going to just say okay on all of these, right? So you want to just the sharing the data if you ever need support, which is not exactly easy to get for analytics. But anyway, I just have that, they can have access, especially if you're looking at something later on with Google Ads, you're trying to troubleshoot. I just go ahead and say, okay. And then the data process terms, which I didn't read, and I'm sure you won't read either. So you just go ahead and just do save and blah, blah. So that's really just the basic settings under account for GA4.